I'm Daphne Russell, and I'm the education evolutionist. I call myself that because I took all of the things that I've learned from the students, from the professors, from what I've read, from everything I've seen, and I kept building. And one of the things I figured out literacy. So much about literacy, and to make it simple, it's how we put it in. So if we put it in with shame, people don't reach for literacy. That's a simple way to put it. So we've created this testing society, and I'm not here to argue against tests. What I'm here to do is to help everyone see a few things that we could do in the regular classroom at a regular public school, anywhere, private school. If there's a standardized test, generally these things that I'm about to tell you help, and they are not choose C. It's not choose one or the other. Nothing that you've heard. And the reason why you haven't heard it is because I obsessed, and I had never heard anybody else say what I'm about to tell you. I created readers. I thought they'd pass tests. I was a reader. I didn't pass tests. Very illogical, but I was told if the kids read, they'll pass tests. And I'm like, okay. So I don't know why I believe that, but I did. But I'm like, but they're not passing tests and they're reading. So not very long ago. So I was at 37 years of education, about 3 years ago, 4 years ago. My daughter was also taking the SATs, and so we bought her the book, SAT class to take SATs. Motivated, paid for, and there's a book and there's a class if needed. Interesting, because in the public schools they say get plenty of rest and good luck. So true. I hate to even laugh about it, but it's true. So I had this kid, particularly this one kid, Mihana, and she was killing it, like reading, like, oh my gosh. And we'd have conversations, and clearly the kid her brain had exploded, but she couldn't pass the test. So I'm like, you know what, Daphne, you better figure this out. So at home, I'm looking at the SAT book with my daughter, and at school, I'm working with kids that I can help. And I'm like, wait a second. So I have some advice, and I'm going to give it to all of you here. So I have notes. I want to make sure I didn't forget to tell you anything. I'm not saying this works 100% of the time. What I'm saying is what it does do, for sure, if you teach it the way that I'm suggesting, because it's how we teach it, it empowers a child. The ones who are not feeling empowered. So let's just go with that's like 100, it's 50% of them. Let's say 50% do not feel empowered. I'm sure it's higher than that, but we'll go with 50%. So you're helping half the kids. It can't hurt. Should try it. Um, don't be the teachers like, well, I want them to prove what they know. Okay, well, if the test proved what they know, then the test would be different. Everything would be different, but they don't. They are measuring something. I'm not sure what, but it's not, in this case, reading. So let's talk about reading. First of all, I highly suggest that you tell the kids you're practicing something. You watch this video and you saw something that you wanted to try out with them. Now, you could show them this video, but when you do it in the actual classroom, I suggest you say, hey, kids, 30 kids, this is really going to help. I heard this story, this person talked, and it helped these people. So I want to try it with you guys. So if you try it, it will help me help the next class of kids, right? So tell me what I did wrong, tell me what I did right, but let me know so I could figure this out. See, right there, step one, you're allowing half of them to help you. And then when they help you, you're helping more kids. So the kid in your room who likes to help, deep-seated help kind of kid, grows up to be some sort of server. And I don't mean the service industry as much as serving other humans. Say a paramedic, right? Serves other humans. What if that's a personality trait? What if it's a deep trait? Then you're helping them out because you're like, hey, if you help me out, it's going to help out those kids. And then you draw that kid in, right? And you think about that same kid, if you're like, hey, kids, try harder. He's like, why? Am I going to help somebody? Is this going to help anyone? Do you see what I'm saying? So step one is kind of interesting, but that's step one. Okay, step two, I'm going to show you. So what I've done is I've obsessively used the same test. So it's the Arizona State test. All we're doing is using the thing that you can use. And we're going to go to the fifth grade test, and we're going to use the fifth grade sample test. And, I'm not telling anything that's not on the internet right now for free anyway. There's 24 questions. So I'm going to show you the first part. You can do anything you want. This is what I'm using. So sample test, and we're going to start, boom, here. It says, directions, read the passage from Annabel Tames the Round Warrior, then answer the questions that follow. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is you want to say to the kids, hey kids, how would you feel about not reading all of the passage and then using evidence to answer all the questions? Well, anybody want to do that? They're all going to raise their hands, or a whole bunch of them are going to raise their hands, not all, a whole bunch. And, people that tell you that they're good test takers often also say, oh, I don't read all the words. Why would I do that? So the key is you're empowering the kids. So step two is about empowering them, giving them a way to come into the test that's not just go do the test, read all the words, right? Because that's not empowering. But hey, what do you guys think of trying this? Now, you're not doing it during the official test, right? Because we don't want to break any rules. But this is the unofficial test. This is the practice. Now, some people are like, well, they should practice the test. We're teaching them how to actually take the test because some of them know and do really well. Some of them don't know and don't do very well. So there's so many kids like this. So this is fun. You say, hey, kids, hey, help me out. I'm going to try this out. I don't know. Let's just try it. Please. Thanks. Cool. Then they're seeing your humility and they're seeing you try something out. So now you got all of the kids on your team, right? The kids that want to do better and the kids that want to help you. Ooh, that's all the kids pretty much in the class. Okay. Then you're like, hey, how would you like to not read all the words? They're like, what? Is that an option? Then you scroll how many words they're not going to read. So it's fun when this is on a big screen because that's a lot of words they're not going to read. So that's step two. Step three is you tell them this. Today is not the day to learn new words. Today is not the day to learn new words. Today is not the day to sound out words. So they're going to focus on the words they know. That's it. Just the words they know. Again, you're empowering them because if you get a kid who's reading this and maybe they know round, maybe they know warrior and an I, and they get to this word and they're developode. Okay, they sounded it out. It did them no good sounding it out. And now they already know they're depressed because they saw that word they didn't know. So they're just that trauma of testing, by the way, which is really real, is been reinforced. So relieve them of that trauma and say, only focus on the words you know. Now, for the sake of this, I'm going to just read it like we know all of the words we're coming across, only because it's difficult to not be in a classroom. But if I were in a classroom, I could put the same test up on the board and I could have a kid take a marker and mark off voluntarily, by the way, because it's very empowering. Mark off the words that they don't know, read the words they don't, and find the answer. I think you'd be surprised how many times that actually works, just doing that. So that is one thing I would do. Project it up, have them go through, mark it off, which is the regular whiteboard, right? A regular marker, nothing even fancy at all. And then they start to see things that are in the test. And if you're a great test taker who's doing this, you don't know how little the bunch of us see. We don't see as much as you do. So this is a great opportunity for the kids to be able to see. And the fifth grade test is just, it's fifth grade. It's fun. So got your step one, got your step two, step three. You're not going to learn new words today. Don't focus on something you don't know. That's important. Okay. Step 4. Read the title, Annabelle Tames the Round Warrior. What is this about? Annabelle tames the Round Warrior. So obviously Annabelle's the girl and she's taming the Round Warrior, period. Okay, there's the picture. Got it. So now they've rewarded it. She's taming, training, taming, however the kid words it, right? Obviously not fighting with Round Warrior, taming. Okay, so 5. Now we're going to go over to the question. Now, this first one is a little extremely easy, but so it says the illustration at the beginning of the passage helps the reader to understand blank. Okay, so picture helps person understand this. So again, the kid rewords it. Picture understands over here. So A, that Annabelle has taught a trick to Round Warrior. See, I used to think something like that was to trick us. And now I realize it's not. You just want the kids to think like a robot. So, dear kids, think like a robot. Okay, trick. And then you talk to the kids. You're like, do you see a trick? No. Okay. How much time Annabelle spends with Round Warrior? Do you guys see time? No. The eagerness Annabelle feels to ride Round Warrior. Eagerness. Ride. Do you see either of those things? No. How much Annabelle enjoys being with Round Warrior. Enjoy. Smile. Enjoy. Ooh. Okay, we're going to pick that one. Okay, and this is how you talk it through. They've never been, this is, I say never. Of course, there might be somebody out there that's doing this, but I've never met them in my 37 years. I've never met somebody who went through this like this. And this relieves the other people. And if you did go through it like this, you'd go, oh, thank goodness, somebody finally put it in a video so I can share it because. Okay, so we reworded it steadily. Okay, now this part is matching and not matching. That's really kind of the key because what the test is really doing is matching. It doesn't say what color is her sweater. And then like it says, she's wearing a red sweater. That's not what the tests do. They do something different. So let's talk about this. Okay. So in paragraph 6, the narrator exclaims, it was like trying to move a bulldozer to show that Round Warrior blank. So moving Round Warrior was like moving a bulldozer. Some kids don't know what a bulldozer is, which is interesting, but they see the move and they see the exclamation point. So move Round Warrior. Okay, so move Round Warrior. Move Round Warrior. I'm matching. So let's not look at the paragraph and see what happens. Okay. A refuses to step backwards. Ooh, movement. Okay. Prefers to play instead of work. Play and work. No movement. Can cause damage to the arena around him. Damage doesn't mean move. Not exactly, right? Takes up a lot of space on the practice ring. Space is not move. Oh my gosh, move refuses to step backward. That's literally movement. So we got rid of ones that don't move. I mean, if it said prefers to something with chase, there would have been movement. Then we might have had to read, but there isn't. There's no movement in any one of those. So even though we don't know what a bulldozer is, right? We see the word move. Now, what's interesting is they have the damage because bulldozers cause damage, horses could cause damage. And that's when I thought it was a trick, but it's not really a trick. They're just putting other words. And they're just other words. There's no evil intent. Somebody really thinks they're measuring reading. So let's help them out. Let's see if it is, right? We'll get to other questions, but move refuses to step backwards. Now, we could go back over there and read that it literally says move and backwards and step. And it says all those things that you wanted to say. But it's kind of interesting that none of these other ones move. So we could feel confident putting that. So it's about getting rid of some, maybe 3. Okay. Now, which two details from the passage best show that Annabelle feels confident she will succeed in training Round Warrior? Okay, you really have to watch my other video for this because it is crazy. I gave this exact same question to my friends on Facebook. So lots of different people, lots of different backgrounds. I got so many different answers. It's insane. So actually, well, I'm going to show you two things actually with this. And so two details that best show Annabelle feels confident she will succeed in training Round Warrior. So confident she will succeed. Okay, we're looking for something that means confident she'll succeed or something that doesn't mean that at all, but that's two parts. There's two things that you have to find in the answer, confident, succeed. RW liked the extra activity and he seemed to really enjoy spending time with me. Confident she will succeed. That one's about RW because me is at the end. So it can't be that one. I had to walk, trot, and back him up. Okay, we'll keep that in mind. I stood in front of him, pulling back on the rope attached to his halter and pushing my small hand against his broad chest. Ooh, I stood in front of him. Okay, so she's training him. Confidence. I mean, she stood in front of the horse. That takes confidence. She put her small hand up on his broad chest. That takes confidence. So, okay, maybe. All right. So the following week, I brought RW's bridle with me in my saddlebag and moved the saddle from Splash to RW once we got to the practice ring. So she moved the saddle. The following week, I brought RW's bridle with me in my saddlebag and moved the saddle from Splash to RW once we got to the practice ring. I don't know if that, I don't know. That one doesn't sound as good to me. Was showing confidence and succeed. Or does it? Because she moved the saddle from Splash to RW. That could show success. Very interesting. Okay, let's go to the next one. I learned to sit tall and relaxed in the saddle and work my fingers on the reins to bring his head in. Ooh, okay, okay. E, boom. That one for sure, right? Because she's sitting tall, right, and relaxed in the saddle and work her fingers on the reins to bring his head in. Okay. I mean, that one clearly is one of the answers. So then we need another answer. Now, a couple things I want to show you here is if it says which of these two details, right? So you could read the other passage a million times and it doesn't actually help you with these answers because these are only here. Do you remember the part where the teacher said, you have to read the whole passage? There's a little bit of betrayal there. If we get to the end of this and we don't have to read it, actually, can you see what that does to the psyche of a child? Not a psyche of a child who doesn't care, because there are some. Totally fine. Great. They probably test better than those who care. Something to think about. But let's go back to that one. So I put this in Chat GPT also, and I also put it on my Facebook also. And I'm going to say E for sure. And I'm telling you, there's so many different answers. I mean, I'm showing you the test, right? Now, the other thing, when I was saying that you should do this in front of the kids with your own tests, that was part of it, is because they're over there thinking everyone in the classroom, boom, 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 put the answers and moved on with their life. They need to see you go, okay, I'm going to do the best I can, which is meaning I'm going to find one that looks like confident in success. Confidence is, I'm going to go back to that. Confidence is success. I got E. I'm going to get one more. So, I'm going to go with A. I'm going to go that A shows that he seemed to really enjoy spending time with me. And I'm going to go with C. I stood in front of him, pulling back on the rope attached to his halter and pushing my small hand against his chest. I feel like that shows confidence, and that the confidence that she's exuding is going to show that she can train this horse. I'm going to go with C and E, and I feel pretty good about that. Now the kid gets to see you struggle. I think it's cool. I think it's helpful. So, and I'm telling you, look at my other my other video to see what happened with that with all my friends. Okay. All right. 6 through 9. Okay. The structure of paragraphs 6 through 9 affect the meaning of the passage by. Now, this is really interesting. Okay, we only know she's training this horse, she's taming him. She has confidence. She stands in front of him, puts her hand on there. There's a process. She took the bridle and brought it with her. She moved the saddle from Splash to Round Warrior. We know that only because we only read the test, right? So check this out. Normally, as a kid, I'd go, oh my God, the structure of paragraph 6 through 9. And then I'd go back and I'd read 6 through 9. But watch this. A, proving that Round Warrior is smarter than the family thinks he is. I have not read a single word that says anything about smarts. B, suggesting that some training activities seem silly to Annabelle. Do that girl stop right there. She's not silly. C, demonstrating that how Annabelle develops her skills as a trainer. Oh, clearly. Okay, emphasizing the difficulty around Warrior has obeying commands. Interesting. There's a S. Now, if they had said one command, then I know he didn't back up, right? In that other question. But it says commands, so I've only read one. And I know that she is developing as a trainer. I know the whole entire story is that she's developing as a trainer. You know what? I'm going to confidently put C, and I'm going to keep moving on with my life. Okay, this one's fun. Which three details in paragraphs 10, 11 support the theme that hard work and patience help people achieve their goals? This is awesome. Theme. So just for everybody to know, that means the test maker over in his little cubicle goes, oh, I did theme. Checklist. The teacher is like, oh, the kids got theme wrong. She doesn't get to see the test. And if the question looks like this, then she goes back to class and she's teaching theme over and over and over and over and over again. And it's not measuring theme. It's telling you what the theme is. So you don't even have to figure out what the theme is. You don't even have to guess, and you don't have to read the whole passage because all of the answers that are potentially supporting the theme are right here. Okay, let me just say that. So, support the theme that hard work and patience help people achieve their goals. So now remember, we didn't read this passage. So all we know is what we know. People, patience, hard work, patience, people, goals. Okay. First one, I noticed that RW was flicking his ears backward and forward. That's literally about RW. Wrong. We were making progress. Ooh, at least she's in there. We were making progress. Okay, let's keep it there. That was the hardest thing for RW to master. That was the hardest thing for RW to master. First of all, it's about RW. The other thing is, what makes me crazy is as a kid, I'd go, what are they talking about? No, the kids need to know just that. Just that. Nothing else. Just what's in the square. Don't focus on anything else. So that one's about RW. There are two about RW. All I have to do is find one more that doesn't have Annabelle or is only about RW. Whoa. Okay. And again, I didn't read. So finally, the day came when mom agreed that I could ride RW by myself. Okay, at least she's there. It helped blow off some steam. It helped blow off some steam. There's no goal, there's no achieving, there's no patience. It's steam. There's not even a person, right? So, boom, that's three. Done. It's the other three. Done. I could read that passage 500,000 times and it wouldn't have helped me in this. The kid that's like me, there's a bunch of them, could have read that 5,000 times and just been worn out and depressed. And the other kid's still stuck on the word developed because they think they're supposed to read all the words. Interesting. Okay. Let's see. There is one more. Okay. That is 5 questions. That's 5 questions, and we haven't read the passage. 5 questions that we have evidence for, that we backed up, and that one is like, come on. So when you do it like this, it gives the kids a little more power. And when they see, and actually you can hear their thinking, then you get to learn more. I did this once accidentally with some kids in the room, and the kid was like, well, but the bulldozer's big. I'm like, right. See, it tricked him. Tricked him. Was it meant to be tricky? No. Could he read all the words? Yes. So if you can read all the words, then why can't they get the answer right? Well, maybe it's because of the question. And I'm telling you, go back to my other video and you will see how many people put all kinds of crazy answers for one question on this test that's supposed to be the demonstration for the standardized test in Arizona. And this isn't just Arizona. This is everywhere. So empower the kids. Give them these things, right? They're good things anyway, right? So kids, look at the title, reword the title. Look at the questions, reword the questions. Match. Take out ones that obviously don't match. If you just do those things, your life will improve greatly. But the kids don't even know that, oh, wow, you're right. It's about people. So if it's about RW, oh my gosh, they don't know that. They don't. They're not taught that. So teach them that. Take off the ceiling of their testing and give them guidance. Okay. So pump them up, give them some hope, right? Okay, find the passage that's long and say, do you want to read all that? And they're like, no, like, look at all what you're not reading. Think about that. We just answered 5 questions and we didn't have to read that. That's empowering, right? To a kid, it is. And none of this is anything I could have taught. I can't, I don't even know what they're reading because of those tests, right? We're not supposed to see them. So looking at a real test, looking at a real example that, your states are providing gives you ammunition to help you help them say what they're seeing. The deficit mindset of the kids can't read it, that's not true. You can go back to my video about anything. If you make it bad enough, nobody is reaching for it. The kids have no reason to try. They are tested so often. All of the kids, I think what's confusing is some of the kids do really well. Well, they're not tortured by the test, but a bunch of the kids are, and this is for them. So if you're a parent, go through this, do it with your kid. I got it from the SAT. There is no SAT for all of us in middle school and high school and grade school. Interesting, isn't that? We all have to, the kids have to take the test. You know what I'm saying. Help the kids. That's what I'm saying. Like 1,000 times. Help them.